Moran is situated at the intersection of Texas State Highway 6 and Farm to Market 576 in Shackelford County, Texas. The town has a 2024 population of 237. Nearby creeks include Deep Creek, Post Oak, Battle Creek, and Hubbard Creek. The town was established in 1882 when the Texas Central Railroad was constructed through the area. Pioneers came to this area as early as the 1860s. During the Civil War, 1861 to 1865, they built the temporary fortress settlement of Mugginsville on Deep Creek, 5 miles north of the future town site of Moran. Population increased after the arrival of the Texas Central Railroad. Originally, the town was named Hulltown after its first merchant, Swope Hull, who opened a general store at the rail crossing on Deep Creek in 1883. He was postmaster of the community's first post office, which opened on August 29, 1883. Hull bought 160 acres between Post Oak and Deep Creeks and platted a town site in March 1884. Hull and his family later moved to Oakland, California, and most of the property was bought by Bem Scott, a real estate developer from Indiana, who eventually sold his interests in 1890 to Matthew D. Bray, a prominent local merchant and landowner. The town's name was changed to Hicks in 1890, and later, in order to secure a new railroad depot, the town was renamed a third and final time to Moran in 1892 for railroad president John J. Moran. In 1900, the town had a population of just over 200, and the community had several businesses, a school and Baptist, Church of Christ, Cumberland Presbyterian, and Methodist congregations. A newspaper was begun in 1895 and a bank in 1902. The Moran community was a shipping center for local farmers and ranchers until rail service was terminated in 1969. It became an oil field service center after the discovery of natural gas in November 1910. In the spring of 1911, gas was piped to Moran for residential and business use. The Moran field won recognition as one of the most important sources of fossil fuels in Texas in 1913. For the next 15 years, oil and gas discoveries in the area made Moran a boom town, with a peak population of 5,000 to 10,000 at one point in the 1920s. By the 1930s, the boom was over, and the population gradually began its decline to the present day. The racial composition of Moran is 87.6% white, 6.5% multiracial, and 5.9% Hispanic. Median age for Moran residents is 56.4 years. Currently, there are 237 people calling Moran home. Moran is growing at a rate of 1.28% annually, and its population has increased by 5.33% since the most recent census, which recorded a population of 225 in 2020. The average household income in Moran is $50,088. However, 11.83% of Moran families live in poverty. In the late 1980s, the Moran Historical Society, which was organized in the 1970s, bought and restored the large, abandoned First Christian Church building near the city park to house the Moran Historical Museum. The museum had previously been located in the much smaller Rockwell building. It has several displays of memorabilia devoted to the town's past. In the late 1980s, Moran achieved fame as the home of the National Fajita Cook-Off, which brought thousands of visitors from all over the world to the town. In the 2000s, Moran became home to Slide Fire Solutions, a multi-million-dollar bump stock production company.